I do like the under. I don't think they keep it within the number, though. I think you are going to see Notre Dame run all over Navy. I think it's going to get very ugly from the jump. I think the defense is going to lock them down. Yeah, give me the Snakes. I'll lay it today. I think Merrill Kelly pitches really well against them today, but I just think that bullpen is going to get destroyed.
Are you guys hearing what I'm hearing? Javon just took the meat out and faded his own squad. He's fading the Reds today. This is like Christmas. This is unbelievable. Chat, meat on tape tonight for the Commanders ML. I can't stress this enough. I will have a rack on them in the preseason. That's the most I'm going to put on a team in the preseason because it's preseason. But it's my favorite bet so far of the NFL year. If you're not taking it, I can't help you. Football is here, ladies and gents, and you can make some serious coins responsibly on the Commanders ML. What is up, chat? Happy BTL Thursday, episode 304 piece. Hold the fry, as always, joined by your guys, Krabs and Javon. 303 piece, I believe. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Javon. Presented by Pickett, as always, with your guys, Krabs and Javon. We've got college football today, ladies and gents. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Could be the difference. Could be the difference today. Need football. Can't be having baseball squad rides every day. Need to mix and match. Diversify that portfolio, Javon. You know how it goes.
Yeah, now that we're here, of course. That's what we got to do.
We're here. And I'll tell you what, I finally got my 1,000 likes, which I'm never doing that again because that was hell, just getting that. For the college football future I'm dropping. And the replies, Javon, I mean, people are acting like it's the worst bet of all time. I feel great about my future.
Yeah, I would if I were you and myself with the ticket on that too. Should be easy,
and
Deion.
It should be easy. Yeah, Deion Sanders takes over and they win every game because he's playing the games. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We got a lot to go over today, Javon. Honestly, the NBA might be rigged. Need to touch on that. Eli Apple is the worst of all time. I don't know how everybody hates that guy. We're going to talk about that. Survivor pool, guys. If you haven't joined that yet, we'll put the link in the chat. We had a little Book It fantasy football draft last night. We'll show you guys our teams. We've got a whole list of college football futures for today that we absolutely love. We've been crafting these up for freaking weeks, Javon. I'm excited to let the people know what we've got. I know we've touched on a couple, but got to go over the whole shebang. And we've got Thursday night college football, folks. It's going to be a great night. All right, college football's here. Last weekend was a little bit of a tease. Tonight, we've got some real games. All right, I'm fucking stoked, Javon. And then, of course, we will go over the MLB slate. Okay, Chad, if you guys haven't seen the Goat Whale yet, make sure you check out the Goat Whale. Trent just dropped it less than an hour ago, I believe. The Goat Whale is out, folks. Go check it out. Go give it a watch. Honestly, WVid, Trent got his ass on the Cowboys field. I don't know how he did it, but he's on there. So check out the Goat Whale vid. He crafted up an absolute gem. And honestly, Javon, I think it might hit. That's the craziest part.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part. I know Chad was talking about us doing our Goat Whale. I think tomorrow will be a good day for that. Maybe we go into that before crafting up a little weekend cheat sheet for college football. That sound like a plan?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. We'll be seeing. Chat, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go over the L recap from yesterday. My goodness. Squad ride cake. Once again. Was never the over. Kyle Freeland masterclass. I know he still gave up like 6 runs, but I don't even care. Dude was dialed in early and often. Not a good bet. We move. We'll get you guys a college football winner for today. It is what it is. Best bets, not our best work, Javon. But good thing we got some today that we love, and we're diversifying with some football. Thank fucking God.
There we go.
All right. Let's go ahead and go over the A team and the B team, folks. We finally hit an A team last night. It's been the B team that's been smacking almost every night. We changed the vibes last night, Javon. A team entry. We'll take this every day and twice on Sunday. Little 3-piece green piece. Look at that. Corey Seager, great call there. You and Lauren were on him. As soon as that was the case, we had to put him in. Nolan Jones came through. And Corbin Carroll didn't score. How about the Dodgers owning the fucking Diamondbacks?
Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Dodgers doing the Lord's work, man.
Dodgers are doing the Lord's work, keeping the Reds alive and keeping that meat glued. Gotta love it.
Keeping it glued.
All right. Got to. Okay. W's. Let's go to the B team real quick, chat. Hand up. It's on me. Okay. I cost us the B team. It is what it is. Ronald Acuna did not strike out. I think, Javon, you said it perfectly last night. I think we got to put these strikeout squares in timeout for a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. In your defense, though, I mean, the other two were also your squares in here, which were pretty sharp. So
yeah,
can't give you all the blame there.
Sure. But you know what? 2 out of 3, it doesn't mean shit. Okay, we need 3 for 3. And we need 4 for 4s. Okay.
We do.
We move. Let's go ahead and talk about some NBA. Did not think I'd be talking about NBA today with college football starting up. We'll keep it quick. But chat, something's happening. And we need to talk about it. Okay, this is fucking weird. Eric Lewis, who's one of the most long-standing veteran referees in the NBA, just abruptly retired last night out of nowhere. Super weird. Super weird. And guys, I'll tell you why it happened. It's because this post went viral of him and his fam rocking a bunch of Celtics jerseys after Christmas or something. I don't know. They're all rocking the same freaking Celtics jersey. You can't be doing this if you're an NBA ref. And I guess people on Twitter started to see it, and it picked up some steam. And next thing you know, the NBA's dropping an official statement about this guy retiring, Javon, out of nowhere. One of the most seasoned refs in the sport. And yeah, Lakers fans are rejoicing. They're literally partying in the streets. And I'll tell you why. This is the craziest part, chat. I wouldn't give a hoot if there weren't some sort of facts or data behind this making it weird. And there are. There are. We're going to pull it up, okay? This is what the NBA doesn't want you to know. We're not going to make you read this entire novel, okay? But pretty much summary here, quick rundown. And if we just click the image in the bottom right, that'll probably give us the best look here. Guys, they played 27 games, the Lakers and the Celtics, when Eric Lewis refed from 2020 to now. I swear to God, they won 23 of those 27 games. And I'll tell you what, I'm not the biggest NBA guy, although I do dabble, and I definitely watch some games towards the end of the season. And I've noticed the Lakers getting absolutely hosed on calls with this guy being a ref. I'm getting the same feeling with this shit that I got with Iowa State and it coming out with all those players betting on games and me saying, that's weird. It looked like they were trying to lose those games on purpose. Well, turns out they might have been. We're getting the same shit here, folks. I want to keep you guys locked in, keep you guys, tapped into what's going on. This is some freaky shit, Javon. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, super weird. I mean, we all have seen it like in some form or fashion with a couple of the refs in the NBA. Obviously, the Scott Foster narrative is still out there. So, I mean, I don't doubt it with all of that coming out. And we've obviously seen the trends here too. So it's super interesting. This doesn't feel like a random retirement. It seems like the NBA found something more than just what we see on social media. They're kind of pushing him out. So that's definitely a little weird situation going on. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more stuff come out pretty soon.
I mean, yeah, they already announced in it, though, that they're not going to go forward with any more of the investigations. Pretty much they're just letting this guy retire and walk off into the sunset with SBR and hang the cleats up. I mean, literally put Eric Lewis's jersey in the TD Garden rafters. He's been doing the Lord's work for the Celtics for, probably longer than it goes back to 2020, if you looked. Yeah. This is crazy, chat, and you're not going to hear much about it because they're going to cover it up. But I wanted to talk about it with you guys. The NBA is sketch. It's sketch. And maybe all sports are sketch. I don't know. But shit like this comes out. It makes me start to think. It really does. It makes me start to think. Super weird, man. Eric Lewis. And look, this is the same guy that created burner accounts and got caught for defending himself and defending his buddies on shit calls on Twitter as well. And they let that slide. And then the NBA, imagine the NBA and Adam Silver, they're on Twitter and they see a fucking picture of this guy's family rocking Celtics jerseys. And he's like, shit. Eric's back. Yeah. Looks like he's back on the Celtics bandwagon. They just re-signed Jaylen Brown. Like, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? How dumb can you be?
He's about to be caught up with Tim Donahue out there.
Literally. I mean, it might not be on that level, but it's definitely in between that and nothing. Which is enough for me to say this is fucking whack. It's whack. Get this guy out of the game. If he has biases, whether he knows he's doing it or not, get him out. We can't be having this shit. There's too many coins in the games. All right, let's move.
Too many.
Let's talk about Eli Apple. All right. This guy, he must be the most hated athlete of all time. He's got to be, which is crazy because he's a nobody. And I know he's been on great teams. I know he's got a ring, whatever. I don't give a hoot. He's a nobody. Okay, it's not like it's people hating Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers for being a dick, right? Eli Apple's a no one, but he is hated more than anybody else I've ever seen in my life. In my life. Chat, how much of a shithead do you have to be to get your baby mama to post on her socials saying she'll sell people to headhunt and go at this man's kneecaps. This is some crazy next level fuckery is what this is. I've never seen something so toxic. I really haven't. I mean, Javon, read that top right quote for me, will you?
Yeah, I mean, if you play against my baby dad this season, please go for the knees, maybe a hammy. She didn't even want to specify. She was like, do something. That's insane. Insane. I wonder what happened to lead to that. I'm sure it was multiple things, but that's
I mean, there's probably shit on the back end we don't know and we don't want to know and we never will. But I'll tell you this, it's not a coincidence that, every so often, every couple months, somebody's shitting on Eli Apple. It's probably for a reason. This guy's got to be just the one. He's got to be the one.
Has to be.
I mean, what are we doing? And teams are still signing him? I don't understand it. He's not even that good.
Yeah, toxic. He's going to be burnt toast, bro.
This is one of the most toxic things I've ever seen, chat. She has a baby with Josh Jacobs and Geno Smith. No fucking way, dude. Are they just passing her around?
Yeah, guess
what
so.
Are we doing, man?
Take your turn.
Eli Apple, bro. Keep your head on a swivel this season. You're going to get some people headhunting like Sean Payton's old team on the Saints back in the day. Jesus.
It's wild.
What are we doing? Chat, we're going to start talking about some MLBs. We got some games starting up in about 15 minutes. But first, make sure you guys join the Survivor Pool. Okay, you can join it after the league starts, I believe, in between that period from Thursday to the weekend, as long as you lock in a team you want for that weekend. But don't wait till that point, because if you're like me, you're going to want to do it. You're going to forget. You're going to put it off. Just join it now real quick. Okay, it takes literally 30 seconds. I'll put it in the chat. Little link action in the chat. If you guys think you know more ball than me, which first off, you don't. If you think you know more ball than me, and I went 61% last year and tracked every single NFL bet publicly, if you think you're sharper than me, chat, I want to see you try. I want to see you try. All right? If you can last longer than me in the Survivor Pool this year, I'll tell you what. I'm thinking about a way to try to maybe get you guys motivated for this. I think maybe I'll do like $100 giveaway, $200 giveaway to somebody who lasts longer than me, who's an OG in BTL chat. There's got to be one of you guys who's going to make it towards the end. I know I'll be there, but if by some crazy reasonings, maybe there's a fire or catastrophe or something, I don't make it to the final weeks, I want to give you guys $100, at least somebody in chat, that lasts longer than me, because I'm that confident. I know you're not fucking doing it. Okay? I got a Survivor Pool belt in my room.
I bet.
I fucking bet, dudes. Get your Ravens ass out of here. I fucking bet. You guys have no chance. You have no chance. I'd like to see you try. It's free. You can win Super Bowl tickets. If you last longer than me, pause. I'll give you $100. There's no way that's happening. Okay? And nobody clipped that. We move.
Crazy.
We move. But I do have a Survivor Pool under my belt. Okay? I have won this before. And I do want to help you guys this year with this. And we will all be in this, every single one of us here at Book It, talking about it, doing it every week. Hop in, see if you're better than us. I don't think you are. We'll see. All right. Javon, no cheat sheet today. We are getting some sub bangs, though. Dilgod coming in with a sub bang, 18 months. As a Badger fan, Mr. Mertz does some things. Game 1, give me Florida ML. Dilgod, I hate to tell you, brother, that's not happening. ZDZ LOL. Clipped crabs, I freaking bet. He sub-banged just to tell me that. I bet. Thanks, brother. Really appreciate that. Unbelievable. All right, we move to MLB. We've got 4 games today, Javon. It ain't much, but it's honest work. And yes, chat, we're going to do college football plays. Don't you worry. What kind of show would this be if we didn't talk about the college football plays today? Grow up. Let's start with the MLB cake. We got 4 games. We got 1 game starting up here in a couple minutes, Javon. What do you like in New York and Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, really nothing, to be honest with you. Would lean the Tigers here, if anything. But this is a game that I would absolutely not play in any form or fashion. Like, I don't like either of these pitchers. Obviously, with Clark Schmidt, you want a lineup that's more filled with lefties. I guess you have a couple at the top when it comes to the Tigers, but majority of the bats, like, I like, don't love. Kind of same for the Yankees. Yankees are pitiful against right-handed pitching. Matt Manning's not a guy that I want to back, but I would have to do that if that was the situation today. It's just a gross game. I don't know why everybody was complaining about us not talking about this game. Then it starts in 30 minutes when it's a god-awful game.
Hold on one sec, Javon. We got Z Bull asking for a sub, and we got Alec delivering. one of our goats. He gave out 6 subs right now. Let's fucking go, chat. Can we get some W's going in chat for Alec? Let's get some W Alex going in chat. He's a fucking beast. Maybe he'll give you a sub. Let's get some W's in chat for our guy, Alec. He's always in here all the time giving out subs. My fucking guy.
Goats.
My guy. W's. Yeah, I'm good on this game too. We got Schmidt. We got Manning. We got a coin flip. We got to pick them. We got 2 teams who stink.
Yeah.
I don't want to bet. I'm in football mode right now. Gun to my head. Give me the under. That's what I'd take in this game. Total down from 9 to 8. Gun to my head. Give me the under. Fade these 2 offenses. Clark Schmidt's okay. Matt Manning sketches me out a little bit, but the Yankees offense blows. Any prize pick squares, Javon, in this game?
I mean, the only one that I even ever so slightly considered taking was that Volpe hit run RBI, but I don't love it. I don't love anything. It's a gross game.
Let's say you wanted to pair a little Volpe with maybe a little Jonah Doan action, Javon, today. What do you think about that?
That could be a little something I'd be interested in.
Maybe his strikeouts? I don't know if I want to take his hits allowed because he's thrown almost a no-hitter twice this season.
Yeah. Oh my
Maybe
God.
the first inning Nerfy between Garrett and Adone. I like the under in that game. Nobody's scoring. Adone last year was the worst first inning pitcher in baseball, and now he's absolute nails in the first. That could be it.
I don't know.
Garrett Adone Nerf.
Yeah, let you take the reins on that one. Your boy.
I know you're on Nat's first 5, and we'll go over that too, but can I get your blessing here on the Nerfy? You're not taking the Yerf.
Yeah, definitely not taking the Yerfy, but
okay.
Yeah. I think Jonah Doan pitches pretty well.
Okay. Chad, I'm going to lock in this little MLB 2-piece. I want something to sweat out for this early game. I'm going to take that Volpe square. I'm going to pair it with Garrett and Adone less than half a first inning run allowed. All right, I'm in. If you guys want some day game action, there you go. Take Volpe, more than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and take that Adone and Garrett Nerfy. All right, squad, little 2-piece. I know that second game doesn't start for a little bit, but I don't want to force in the first game. That one stinks. All right? Dubs, let's go to Miami and Washington. Speak of the Devils, Javon. You like the Nats today. You like them early. Tell me why.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Nats early because I'm not dealing with that bullpen. But it's also because I like more of the Jonah Doan versus the Braxton Garrett. Braxton Garrett, obviously a lefty. The Nats lineup has been not the same. They're kind of going through one of those ruts again where they're not fantastic against lefties, kind of like they had a couple weeks ago. So it's not like they're great against lefties, but they're not going to strike out. They're not going to hit the ball all that hard, which is what you want against Braxton Garrett, but they're going to make him work, especially when he works in the strike zone. So I think they're going to be pesky enough to kind of get to him, score a couple runs early on in the game. And then Jonah Doan, his little resurgence has been incredible. So I'm down to back him against the Marlins who, again, you want to attack them against the lefty and you want to attack them at home. And neither of those are the case today. So I'm 100% down to back a little Jonah Doan first 5 plus a half.
Let's go. What are your thoughts on that Luis Arias square? I know you probably don't love it if I like the under and you like the Nats first 5, but decent point from Fat Girls Inc. Maybe they're just putting up his bait because everyone knows he's one of the best hitters in baseball, but he's been cold as ice, Javon. Cold as ice.
Yeah.
Can't have his run square up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. If there's a guy who scares me for the Marlins, it's definitely Luis Arias, maybe a little sneak Jake Berger, but Luis Arias is definitely the guy. Hit Carroll in a run. That was one of the sharpest squares I think you've had this season.
Let's go, dudes. Carroll's been scoring like no other. When they go to LA, they don't score. They get destroyed. It's like watching a freaking major league team versus a AAA team. They own the Diamondbacks this year.
Yeah.
It's not even close. It's not close.
Love to see it.
Yep. So you're saying maybe a little Jake Berger action?
It's the one who scares me. If we see, the Adone home run problem come back up a time or two in this game, which I don't know if it will. Hopefully not more than once, but that's the one that scares me a little bit.
The hit run RBI?
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to take a Marlin, is that who you're going with today?
Yeah, that's what I would take.
Right. Any Nats you want to take today? And yeah, you're so right. I'm happy that I'm the national source here for the gambling community. The Nats are not hitting left-handed pitching well at all. Lane Thomas is in a slump. Stone Garrett's knee exploded. it's been tough. I mean, CJ Abrams, one of our best hitters, but he's a lefty. It's been brutal. We've got injuries. We've got young guys playing now for the first time. So we're not raking against lefties anymore. You're so right. I don't think we're going to score much today, but I'm with you. I don't think the Marlins will either. That's why I like the under. But yeah, give me the Nats first fivers. Get in, get out with it. You don't got to worry about those bullpens.
Yeah,
get down
100%.
with that.
100%.
Michael Chavis, TB?
Twist my arm with that one.
Yeah, dude. Let's take that.
Taking Michael Chavis.
He respects coin.
Chavis. Yeah, he does.
He respects coin. All right. We move. You even want to talk about the Padres game today?
No, not really. Can't say I have many thoughts. I don't even know. I think Luis Avila is pitching like a bulk type start for the Padres, but I have no clue who's pitching for the Giants.
I think it's Pedro Avila, is it not? For the Padres?
Pedro Avila for the Padres, yeah, not Luis.
Okay. And right now, I'm seeing for the Giants,
I have no clue.
Right now, it's Walker. So I guess that'd be an opening.
Yeah, so I have no idea who's coming after that. So it's just
Manea?
I don't know what to say. I mean, it could be Manea, it could be Junis, it could be Wood. I have no clue.
Bro. Yeah, locker room vibes are dead. I'm just going to go smoke some cigs during the game. This is my favorite account that drops comments in here. I hate to say I have a bias, but I do. I fucking love that account.
Hilarious.
Unbelievable. Riley's due. He's a lefty. I bet.
Riley is...
Austin Riley is not a lefty.
Yeah, I don't know if we're talking
about Riley Adams.
Yeah, if we're talking about Riley Adams, is he even going to play?
Against a lefty, he honestly might. And if he does, would be a pretty decent matchup. Okay, let's move off of that game. That game stinks. Let's talk about San Francisco and the Padres. Much better game. Any plays in this? Are you too hurt?
No, I mean, I could care less. You got to have a short memory in baseball. Can't really ban teams, but
Riley Green.
Bro, we're not even talking about that game. What are we talking about Riley Green for? But yeah, Padres, yeah. Unless I didn't know anything about the pitching plan for both of those teams past, whoever's opening the game, I really can't say much.
Okay. That's fair. What was the early prize picks entry? You got to go Volpe, hit run RBIs. Maybe you take Berger, hit run RBIs in there. I know I like the Nerfy between Adone and Garrett. That's what I paired it with. Feel free to pair with something else or whatever we craft up in these other games. Berger, hit run RBI, Chavis, TBs. All right. We move. Any prize pick squares in this game? There's only 3 up for the Padres: Tatis, Machado, and Avila. I really just don't think they know what the heck to put up right now.
Yeah, you can't really put up anything until you know.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's talk about Atlanta and LA. We could talk about that one. We know what's going on there. Spencer Strider, Lance Lynn. This is going to be a good one. I mean, it's on MLB Network, late night game, take me home piece. Will be a good secondary TV during college football. Javon, any inkling to want to back Lance Lynn and the Red Hot Dodgers at home against Spencer Strider?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
Down. Which, I mean, what helps is, I mean, you do have the Braves coming off of a couple good performances, coming straight from Coors. Not a crazy travel day, but coming from Coors into LA against Lance Lynn, who's been really good, even against teams that are better against right-handed pitching, which I pay attention to that for a lot of the West Coast teams, like we did with Fat yesterday. But he's been really good against a lot of teams. Spencer Strider, obviously same deal. He's had some softer matchups as of lately too. So going up against the Dodgers, I think it's going to be a little different of a look. And I don't think he goes out there and gets rocked necessarily, but I think this is going to be a pretty tight game. And I'm willing to lean the Dodgers here, especially when we get to the bullpens, because I think when it comes to Strider, you're going to have a couple of those big bangs. He's going to get his strikeouts, obviously, against a lot of those guys that have a lot of swing and miss in their game. But I think he gives up a couple big swings for the Dodgers. So I trust Lance Lynn. I trust that bullpen. And after what I've seen from the Braves bullpen, which they haven't really been tested like in the last couple of weeks here just because they've been winning and they've been in very stress-free situations. They're going to be in stressful situations in this series. And I think it starts tonight. So I'm going to be careful about which Dodgers I back because you have a couple of really weird squares up, but I like them today.
Any Brave squares before we move on? Maybe in Azuña, less than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs?
Yeah, I mean, There's a couple of them that are just like, why are they up on both sides? It's really interesting.
Matt Olson less than a run. Although I do like the over in this game, so maybe I don't want to get cheeky with fading these guys. Maybe that's too cute. I do like runs in this game. Do you?
I don't know. I think it's going to hang right around the number. I wouldn't be surprised if you have like both of these guys pitch relatively well, and then like I said, it's like you get 4 scoreless innings, then a couple of home runs, and it's like 3-2 by the end of the 5th, and then whatever happens in the bullpen, what happens in the bullpen, you know. So I don't feel a particular way about it.
And there's definitely a lot of weird squares up, chat. Don't get me wrong, and these squares are making me not want to back the Dodgers. I'll be honest with you. I see that Outman hit run RBI square at 0.5. I mean, he's been on fire, getting hits almost every night recently. He's been cashing those TBs, so maybe they're just bumping him up to hit run RBIs now. I don't know. But that's where he's at. That's interesting. You got Jason Hayward, who's been on absolute fire. Just hit a bunch of nukes recently. He's up for half a TB. What the heck? I mean, yeah, I guess it's against Spencer Strider, but he's absolutely dialed right now, and it's lefty versus righty. And then you got Lance Lynn. His walk square is 1.5. I freaking love that more than 1.5 walks for Lance Lynn today, whether he pitches well or not. Hate to say it. And then his hits allowed square is 5.5. I mean, I feel like that's probably where it should be. I don't really feel like that's too weird. He's got that 2.5 earned run square, though, up, but he's been all over the place, so I don't really feel anything about that. Definitely don't love seeing all those hitter squares, and also seeing Muncy up for a TB. Javon, Jesus Christ, that might be the greenest gob of them all. He's been insane recently, and I know these guys are going against Strider, so maybe it's not even worth it, but that Muncy square is ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I feel like it's just bait. I feel like a lot of these squares today are just bait with how good they've been doing. They're putting up all like the low-key veterans who've been on fire for the Dodgers finally today. Muncy hasn't hit when he's been listed. Okay, good, Fletch.
Yeah, it's not true, but most of the time, yeah, it's not completely successful. But I guess like there's weird stuff on both sides, which is like kind of canceling it out for me. Like Ozuna has been the greatest hitter of all time, and he's up for a hit run RBI today instead of the bases or whatever else he's been up for. You got Acuna up as the league. Not like he's been fantastic as of lately, but you rarely ever get that. You rarely get the Olsen run that's been pretty green as of recently too. So I mean, it's both sides for me. So I don't really care too much.
I feel like there's too much shit going on that's contradicting in this game on the Prize Picks board to make me confident in a play.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much everything today.
That sucks.
Baseball is super small, so you can only go so far.
Man. Okay, well, I kind of gave my thoughts on the board here, and I'm kind of scared off the Dodgers a little bit after looking at that and seeing all those, secondary guys, not like Freddie and Mookie, who are now finally getting respect, and they're all up for these squares after they just dominated in this last series. I mean, I watched all those games, and all those guys have been on fire at the plate, and now they're all putting them up, but it's against Strider, and that's what's thrown me off. It's also Dodgers, Braves, two of the most public teams. That's thrown me off a little bit too. Try to reel me back in, Javon. Am I overthinking these weird squares that are up against Strider? Am I still on the right page here with the Dodgers ML? Is it better just to go with the freaking over? But then I look at the guys up here and I'm like, maybe I take the under in the game because they got all the goats up who are greened out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're overthinking it necessarily. It's tough to say with 4 games, and this is obviously the game that people are going to want to bet the most, and a lot of the players that people are going to want to bet the most. So they're going to have a lot of stuff up. But I mean, you do have to say too, there's a team coming out of Coors for the Braves. So you're going to see a lot of numbers inflated, and they're just good in general. They've been putting up 75,000 runs. So this is their first real test in a few weeks here. Kind of same with the Dodgers. They've been playing like the Diamondbacks are not a bad team, but this is by far, yeah, they own them. So it's a little big brother, little brother situation. Now they're playing the best team in the NL. So you're going to see some stuff like this. So I don't feel incredibly confident, but I still like the Dodgers, and I still wouldn't mind taking some of these. You have a lot of these up, some of them are going to hit. And the one not weird one, I guess you can say, is probably my favorite if he does end up playing. And I would go with Kike Hernandez, that half a base. I think he's going to shoot fastballs to the opposite field against Strider, which is what he's been so good at for so long. So I like that square.
That one I can get behind. Yes.
Yeah, I like that square. And then there's a couple, some of them are going to hit. Well, between like Hayward and Muncy, pick one because they're not going 0-2. But like Muncy, the one makes sense to me because there's so much swing and miss in his game. But like against Strider, I would fade that regardless if it was green.
I mean, there's no way old man Hayward's going to be able to keep up with that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Did we just fade Hayward today?
Yeah, he's seeing the ball well. I wouldn't want to do that. If I was going to fade anybody that's super hot, it would probably have to be the Alvin Square, who's been super green at half a TB, and then he moves to hit run RBI at 0.5. So like that's the one that I would fade out of the super green suspicious ones.
Okay. All right. At least I got one. I got one fade chat out of that. That's good. All right. Any Brave squares that you want to take? I know we went over some, but I don't think I got any that you like.
Not really. Those are like it's kind of the same situation there where like there's so many that are suspicious there and somewhat make baseball sense that I don't really want to pick one to fade because I think you're going to go like 2 for 3. I don't really know if I can pick out one, but
okay.
Yeah, if I was going to do anything, maybe just fade Strider, call it a day.
Wow. On his fantasy score?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Strider fantasy score. He fading that. It's so fat. It's going to be fat every day, though, chat. He gets 10 strikeouts a game. He's a freak.
I mean, yeah, that's probably that's as high as you can make it against the Dodgers right now.
Okay.
It's like I don't think the line is weird or anything.
Do you like that Lynn more than 1.5 walk square?
Like it, don't love it.
Okay.
I know it's tough. It's tough with the Braves coming out of course. See how much of an effect that has in their ABs.
Javon.
Yeah, Hayward.
I've talked to you about the small sample sizes that people care too much about, and that's how they bait you into getting the wrong squares. Looks like they're putting up that Hayward square today when he's 2 for 2 against him with a nuke.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't planning on taking it anyway, but definitely not taking it now.
Okay, good. Sure. YouTube chatter. Let's go, chat. We also just put up a YouTube video today as well. Doing a lot of shit today, chat. Me versus Trent, a little fastest golf hole that we did a couple weeks ago that we threw up today. Make sure you check this out. All right. Who do you think won? Who finished the hole first, me or Trent? Has nothing to do with how many shots. It's just literally hitting your tee shot at the same time, sprinting like a fool to the hole, running out of breath, potentially throwing up, and then finishing the hole. It was close. It was close, chat. I'll tell you that. Make sure you guys check it out. Good. If we can put the link in chat, that would be fire as well. Check that out. All right. Strider more than 1.5 earned runs. Ooh, that's not up on Prize Picks, is it?
No. It's super juicy. Right. For what it's worth, too, the one that kind of stood out to me as far as lines that we have up for the pitchers. Remember we took Lance Lynn over 5.5 hits last time?
Yes.
It's the same line. Now it's minus 130 to the under against obviously a much better offense. Which I don't know if that's up on PP, but that's on the books, one that stood out to me.
That is on Prize Picks, bro.
It is. Oh.
5.5 hits allowed. You want to take that less then?
Yeah, wouldn't mind doing that.
Wow. I'm assuming you like that better than the walks.
Yeah. So, I mean, after what we saw in Boston his last start, to see the flip on the odds there is certainly interesting. And I know we had a much higher total game, kind of shootout, at least expected there from the books, but it's an interesting little discrepancy.
100%. And Chad, I'll tell you what, football's starting up. MLB knows that. Manfred knows that. There's 4 games today. There's a day game on MLB Network, and then there's a night game on MLB Network. Would not surprise me one bit, Javon, if Manfred hops on a flight tonight out to LA and hand delivers some juice baseballs. Maybe he paints over the ones from the Home Run Derby himself. I don't know. But this game reeks of juice baseballs. We've got no Shohei today. Shohei's hurt. I feel like the juice baseballs are probably out of Anaheim. And honestly, that's probably a pretty quick trip right down the street.
Could be, yeah.
You know, they probably store those puppies in Anaheim. They probably have a juice baseballs factory, and they could just ship them right over there, probably an hour away. Sure.
Quick little drive.
That's the one thing that worries me about taking a square like Lance Lynn less than 5.5 hits is that it could be some sort of fluke shit, and it could be juice baseballs.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We move. I definitely like that, though. If we had to craft up a little MLB 2-piece right now, Javon, and I'm only saying that because my balance is low and I need a winner, what would you take?
I mean, I would definitely say let's move to the college football board if you need something like that.
You want to wait for college football?
Yeah, we can circle back around and put all the good squares together kind of at the end here.
All right.
Because the MLB slate is horrendous.
It's actual news today.
Yeah.
It's actual news. I'm with him. Curtis goes, more overs, please. I bet. You know they keep the juice baseballs in Yankee Stadium for judge crabs. That is true. They probably have a couple warehouses. It's probably like Amazon. They got HQ too in DC now, and they got their main place out in California. It's probably like that. They got 2 HQs. We move. Should have been the Braves by 3. I freaking bet. Chad, I know the squad ride was cake last night, but at least the Dodgers came through. They came through. I know you guys were all on them. All right. Hope you guys got some coins back there. Javon, let's talk about the fantasy football draft. People are saying we might have the 2 best teams in the league. They're talking.
People are saying.
Plus 300 for Javon is live, folks.
So live.
How do you feel about your team?
I mean, I feel great. Obviously, I got my guy, Deshaun Watson. Really, honestly, didn't plan on doing that because I was going to let Trent have him for the draft. I was kind of going in expecting Kirk, but he got snagged. Trent went another direction, so I got Deshaun, got my workhorse, and Derrick Henry. Love CeeDee Lamb, love Devontae Smith. I think we're pretty deep. I would have liked to get more running backs, but my handcuffs are on the waiver wire, so I was pretty good with sticking with Khalil Herbert on the bench, who I had to go a little early for, but feeling fantastic. I honestly might have Sam Laporta in that starting slot week 1, which is going to be awesome. So I'm excited for that.
2 things. Number 1, I might need to hit you up and have my people reach out to your people because I need a tight end. And number 2, before we pivot to my team, who's your sleeper pick on your roster? Is it Mr. Laporta? Who's the guy you want to let chat to know to draft in their draft this week?
I would definitely say draft Laporta in late rounds, but I feel like I've beat that enough that I don't need to say that again. But Khalil Herbert is probably my sleeper. I guess I've talked about that a little bit too. I think if you're talking fantasy drafts, you're seeing him a little lower because, like, by name, it is a committee in Chicago with a couple of the backs they have behind him, and you're going to see like limited upside to some degree, but I think it's being taken into account a little too much. I think you're going to see that David Montgomery role enough to where he's going to produce like a top back in the league. So like I love him for the value you're getting in fantasy drafts. Nico Collins, another sneaky one who I loved taking him last year for people who remember, even with, a much worse quarterback situation with Davis Mills. Now you have CJ Stroud. He's going to be the go-to guy there. Love Tank Dell. Everybody loves Tank Dell, but Nico Collins is the consistent guy there on their roster that's going to get targets after targets. So I love him this year too.
Okay. W team, you got a shot at the championship?
Of course.
Okay. All right. We'll see if you can knock me off. I'm still the defending champ. People forget. We got a first-time chatter. I took Laporta. I love him this year. Look at that. BZ Chaos.
He knows ball.
Sure. W first-time chat. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Love it. Let's go to my team real quick. We'll go over it. I feel pretty good about it. Not going to lie to you. Got my guy Josh Allen. Maybe took him a little early. Don't really care. I think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, and it's going to be because of him. Mixon, I love this year. Dobbins, the ESPN rankings are just absurd, disrespectful on him. I don't really understand it. So took him. I mean, he's projected 13.5 points. He's going to be the workhorse this season. He's the guy. New offensive coordinator. I don't think they're going to use those 4 running backs as much anymore. Feed your best running back. Be your best team. Go to the Super Bowl. Be good. Use Dobbins. They're going to this season. Cooper Kupp. Chat. People are talking. They're saying maybe it wasn't a smart move to take Cooper Kupp before Jamar Chase. We'll see how that plays out at the end of the season when Cooper Kupp leads the NFL in receiving yards because he's going to do it. All right. Christian Watson I snagged. I feel pretty damn good about my starting lineup. My tight ends suck. It is what it is. I got Schultz, but he could end up being pretty decent as well early on for either Mills or CJ Stroud. I think either guy could rely on their tight ends, and there's really not that many mouths to feed on that offense. Not great. I'm probably going to need to make a move for tight end, though. I got my guy Dotson early. I took him early as shit. And, Chad, I'll tell you right now, that's the guy you want to target in your fantasy football drafts. Not only is he going to be the number 1 receiver for the first couple weeks, he's unbelievable. And he's still underrated and undervalued in fantasy football, just in general. That guy, if you watch him play football, he's one of the best people on the field at all times. He reminds me exactly like Terry McLaurin was when he came out of college and was not the highest ranked wide receiver. And he was a 3rd-round guy, but he had heart. He's a grinder, and he fucking makes plays. When he's on the field, he produces. At the end of the day, that's exactly what Dotson does. He's a touchdown machine. He's got magnets in his hand in the red zone. I swear to God, the ball just ends in his hands. It's nuts. And Terry's got turf toe. Javon, you're right. That's going to be worse than people think. It always is. It's going to be the Dotson show. And the Commanders are going to be trailing in a lot of games, okay? They're going to need to pass the ball, especially early. Make sure you take Dotson in your fantasy football draft. I'll be starting him in my flex for the first couple of weeks at least. All right?
100%. 100%.
Right? Yeah, have to take him. Have to take him. Chad, if you guys don't have a defense, if you lack on a defense and you need one in the last round, don't sleep on the Falcons defense week 1. That's kind of the position I was in, and I snagged up the Falcons. Their defense is okay, and they have a good matchup week 1 against Carolina. A lot of those other crummy defenses that are available in the last round, they're better defenses on paper, and they're bigger name teams, but they have tough matchups week 1. So I go Falcons in that last round if you need a defense. And yeah, I stashed Kamara. I got Flowers, who could be a beast. Michael Thomas, I don't know why I'm doing it again, but I am. I'd say my sleeper pick, though, that you need on your team is Jahan Dotson, but I don't even know if he's a sleeper at this point.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's a sleeper.
That's fair. That's
He's
fair.
a beast. All right. We move. Chat, it's about that time. College football futures, folks. We're going to do futures. We're going to do Thursday night football. We're going to do squad ride and prize picks as well. All right. The whole shebang, the whole 9 yards. Before we get started, let me know what your favorite college football play of the night is. 4 games with lines out right now. We'll see if any of the others get lines. If they do, try to give out some plays later. But we got 4 games tonight that are legit. They have lines. Give me your favorite play in chat right now of the night slate. Go, 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 go. Hurry up. Javon, it's time. Let's fucking go, dude. Let's go. I guess I'll get it started off with my college football Meg future that I haven't really released yet, except for on Twitter last night at 2 a.m. And I know you can get behind this one too, Javon.
Yeah.
Fading the Buffs. Fading the Buffs. It's that simple. Did I overlay the bet slip on the Colorado tweet from last night? Sure as hell I did. Sure as hell I did. Right in between Coach Prime and right in between their tough-ass schedule. And we can scroll down to that too. Honestly, we can just show that. We coming? Yeah, I bet. You guys aren't coming anywhere. You're not doing shit. Look at their schedule, chat. You guys tell me if they're winning 4 games, because they're not. And I'm not saying I don't believe in Deion Sanders. What I am saying is everyone thinks that he's going to put on the fucking cleats, lace them up, and go out there and play. Deion Sanders will bring in great players for this organization. I need to see if he can be a head coach in a Power 5 conference, and I need to see those results show up on the field and not in some bum-ass, FCS division. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I need to see it on paper, okay? And everyone in my comments is talking about, oh, this is the worst bet ever. Thank you, because you're making me want to double this bet. Straight up. Maybe I'll make it a 10U. Guys, they're not winning 4 games this season. The win total was floating around 5 last year. It went down to 4 for the majority of the offseason. The last couple weeks, it's now down to 3.5, and that juice is loose, folks. It keeps moving. It keeps moving. Down to minus 125. I wouldn't be surprised if this closes at 3. I wouldn't. Okay? Guys, Colorado isn't winning 4 games. Let's take a peek at their schedule here, Javon, and you can help me out here too. How's that TCU game going to go this weekend?
Yeah, take the 20.5. I bet they'll keep that competitive. They're going to get destroyed.
TCU loses a lot of their key guys, and they're still laying that against the trendiest team in football. I fucking bet. I bet. Chat, the largest, risk for the sports books this year in college football futures is Colorado, for the only reason that Deion Sanders is their coach. You can't tell me that within a couple months, he's going to have this entire football program around. If you believe that, you don't fucking know ball. You don't. You don't know how hard it is to change a culture, to rebuild a team that really wasn't even good in the first place. You know how fucking hard that is to grow something from nothing? To grow a school, to grow a program like that from nothing? It's
especially when
impossible.
It's literally from nothing, not just in the fact that they won 1 game last season, but they also, you got a lot of cool transfers in, but they're replacing 80% of your roster. Zero exaggeration, 80% of the roster is gone. And you're putting together like cool skill position players that are, some of them are big Power 5 transfers. Some of them are guys who bring in from Jackson State, but they have no depth. So like, cool. They can have a good weapon here and there against a top team or at least a Power 5 team like TCU, but that ain't going to last long. You can have a flash here and there, but they are not deep enough to compete for the whole season. So like that, a lot of people are somehow think Colorado's going to come into Fort Worth and beat TCU. Yeah, sure. I bet.
And you know what?
Yeah.
If his kids come in and end up being the greatest college football players of all time, I will charge that to the game. But as of right now, they were playing in a bum-ass conference that my fucking private high school team could have beaten their fucking squad. They're sorry as shit. And they're going to have to come in and play against the Pac-12 that's good for one final year. Guys, I'm down to back Colorado in the rebuild next season and going forward, but let's see them do it. You guys are making up shit in your head thinking Deion Sanders is going to take this team to the fucking Super Bowl in the NFL. They're going to play the fucking Bills this year. It's ridiculous. You guys need to slow your roll. Look at this schedule. TCU, they're going to get marked in that game. That place, and guys, I went to my first TCU game last year. That place is going to be fucking bonkers. There's no way that Colorado goes in there on the road this weekend and keeps that game within 20 points. There is no chance. Okay. Then they play Nebraska. And I'll be honest with you. The only chance this future has of going over is if they beat Nebraska. And they might. They might.
Nebraska sucks. That's a tough game because, that's a big rivalry game. So, crazy things can happen there. But I think the like everybody's thinking that Colorado State game in week 3 is, a lock of a win. I think Colorado State beats them. They're a lot better than people give them. I don't need that. We need hitters. We need hitters.
Okay. All right.
But I'm interested to see if they actually took a hitter, and that's why they fell that far. But aside from the point, Colorado State's better than a lot of people think, and that's going to be another weird rivalry game too, but not as big as the Nebraska game seems to be. And Colorado State's going to be really good. I debated getting on their win total as well, so I think they're live in a couple of the games at the start of their season, but especially in that one.
And then they play Colorado State. You want to give them a win there? Sure. We'll give them a win against Colorado State. And that's going to be a tough game, too. That's a rivalry game. And Colorado State, the Rams, will make those games weird. They will. Yeah. But we'll give them a win there. We'll give them a win. Oregon, they're not fucking winning. USC, they're not fucking winning. And everybody's acting like the Pac-12 is dead. Guys, the Pac-12 might be the best this season than it's ever been.
Exactly.
It might be the best this season than it has ever been in the history of the Pac-12.
It's definitely the deepest that it's been. We got a lot of the tough teams, and the most common things that I've seen for Colorado, I guess, when people, whether they're, in your comments or just talking about it in general, the very common, 4 gimme wins that they think they have are Nebraska, Colorado State, Arizona State, and Stanford. With Stanford, you can have that one. They're going to be horrendous, whatever. But Arizona State's in a rebuild. They're going to have their moments of when they're flashing. They're definitely, for all the talk about the talent that Colorado has, I guess, on the surface with a lot of the guys they brought in, like Arizona State, regardless of the movement that they've had along their roster, they're deeper. They're better at pretty much every skill position. They have a better, coach in the first year. At least the system's a little more established at this point. And you're going to have guys that are working better in it than we're going to see in year 1 of Colorado. So, I don't understand. If you're betting on Colorado, there's the one guy who comes in our chat every single day who comes in and spams all caps Colorado to win the Pac-12 at plus 5 million thousand odds. Go to a food bank. Go give somebody the money that needs that, because the time you press that button, you're not seeing that money back. It's not going to sniff coming back in the green to your account. Just do better. There's better ways.
Literally give it to a hobo.
Yeah.
Literally get cash out from the ATM and give it to a homeless person. Straight up. All right, they'll beat Colorado State, maybe. Maybe they'll win one game between Arizona and Arizona State. Maybe. Probably not, because I'm high on those two teams. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We'll give them Stanford. They'll beat Stanford. Stanford's dog piss. They stink.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to beat Stanford. We'll say they're going to win one game out of Colorado State, Arizona, and Arizona State. I feel like that's fair to say.
That's fair.
Okay, so they got 2 wins through those games. Guys, they're not winning anymore. They're winning 2 games this season. They're going to double their wins from last year. Get your head out of the clouds. Colorado isn't doing anything this season. Ride with me on this future, and I'll see you in the counter in a couple months, because this shit's already hit. Colorado's not winning 3 games, let alone 2. Lock it in. Reds got Bader.
It's not the one I wanted, man.
The Reds got the guy that doesn't even know how baseball works. Doesn't even know how the waivers work.
Dude, the last thing they needed was more swing and miss in that lineup. That's the last thing they needed.
Bader could be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough.
Bader could be the nail in the coffin for the meat-glued MLB future.
Yeah, I wanted Grichuk. That's what I wanted.
You got the toxic.
I mean, he's better than TJ Hopkins, I guess. So like, I can't complain too much. The fact that guy still plays MLB games in almost September now, I guess I can't be too bad.
Yep, I'm with you. Javon, we've got a bunch of other futures. I wanted to dive into this one and kind of give Chad a little bit of a wake up call here, so that they don't look like fools when they're talking about, Colorado winning the Pac-12 or winning the national championship to their buddies this weekend when you start talking about college football. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy. To be honest, I think there's a chance for them to be competitive against some of the Pac-12 teams, just because, you're facing a lot of good teams, but also a lot of weak defenses, especially when you talk about the Oregons, the USCs of the world, great teams. They're not going to be able to keep up. They don't have the guns to do that, but they'll score. They'll make it interesting, but they're not going to win the games. They're not deep enough to do that.
No chance. I need to see it in real games, not just all this content, all this media hype around the school. I need to see wins on the field. And I'll tell you right now, chat, we're not seeing any of them this year. You might get 2. We move. Let's talk about the other futures we got, Javon. We'll just rip through them real quick because we got games to talk about. We already talked about Colorado. Go over yours when they come up. We'll just go in order. Give a one-liner about why you like it.
Yep. Cal, explosive offense. Talked about that. Sam Jackson's going to be great. New OC. It's going to do the same things to do with Davis Webb. Defense is improved and veteran. Probably going to be one of the better ones in the Pac-12. A conference of weak defenses. So they're pulling upsets. They're winning 6 games. Boston College, same deal. New quarterback, relatively. Emmett Moorhead is going to come and be much better than Phil Jerkovich was last season. Played the last 4 games, which he looked really good in. Now you have an offensive line that was one of the worst units in college football last season. They're improved. They have new production there. They have to replace Zay Flowers with a couple of guys that I think are well capable enough of doing it. So like them to win 6 games with an easy schedule. Oklahoma State kind of at odds at this one, but love them. They have a defensive plan here with their coordinator from D2 who is going to implement a lot of things. That's a lot on the shoulders for inexperienced guys at those positions. So I think their defense is going to be just as bad as we saw at the end of last season. We have a little rotating situation at quarterback too, whether it is Alan Bowman all season, who's super injury prone, whether it's Garrett Rangel, all really bad quarterbacks playing behind a really bad O-line and gutted skill positions. So taking their under.
Sure. Give me Duke this year in a crummy ACC. I like Riley Leonard. I like that veteran team, backing them to win more than 6.5 games. What do you like about the Irish?
Yeah, I took this obviously before a week ago, so I was confident about them then, but defense is going to be much improved. We saw it a little bit in the Navy game. The trenches is where they're going to get better. They have one of the best corners, I think, in college football. And Ben Harrison is going to be locked down out there. So secondary is going to be great. Linebacking core is veteran, and they're going to be absolutely amazing in space. Sam Hartman's going to be great. Audric Estime is going to be great. Overall, this is just the best, most solid team I think they've had in a couple of years, and that includes, obviously, the quarterback position. BYU, same thing, defensively. In the Big 12, they're running a 4-3 with a lot of man coverage. That is not going to work, and I guess we'll talk about that a little more tomorrow because I honestly think they might be in a little bit of trouble when they're playing out of conference and against FCS opponents. But I think their defense is going to be historically bad this year, and it was last season. So I'm fading them against a lot of the good offenses in the Big 12.
Sure. I'm in. Arizona, Jalen DeLoria. That's it. That's the future. He's a beast. Arizona, year 2 of the rebuild. I'm back in that squad. Like I said, guys, it's not just fading Colorado. I like a lot of these other teams in the Pac-12 this season as well before that conference sucks.
Yep.
Iowa. Was that me or you taking Iowa? I think that was me.
That was you, but I'm on it too. Yeah, I left that.
Iowa's defense last year, freaking elite, right? Remember all those games where they'd be up 6-3 in the fourth or at the end of the game, and we're all like, what the fuck? Well, now they got Cade McNamara, who's not great, But Cade McNamara could at least manage that game and help out that squad a little bit more. And he's also bringing in his tight end with him back from Michigan. So give me Iowa's offense to improve a little bit, and that's all it's going to take for them to win more than 8.5 games. What do you like about Oklahoma?
Yeah, another like year 2 situation where everybody's kind of written off Oklahoma after, a struggle of year 1, I guess you can say. But they're going to be much improved. The defense is going to be better. It's really hard to be worse. Dylan Gabriel in that offense, you're going to get a full year, hopefully, of him healthy and a new year for him to be comfortable in that offense. Oklahoma is going to surprise a lot of people, especially in a relatively weaker Big 12 this season. So you're going to see them surprising people. The offense is going to be electric. Everything about it. Love it. And obviously Dylan Gabriel, Heisman there at the bottom too, because I think their ceiling, this is also a good way to back them, which is why I left it for no more than, any of the half or 1 unit that I have on it. Because Oklahoma at their ceiling against this really tough schedule, if they're winning 11 and 10 games, maybe even, I don't think they go undefeated, but I think they'll be close to it. You're going to see Dylan Gabriel in New York. So that's why I'm taking my shot, because I think if you see that win total soar, he's going to be a Heisman candidate, and you're going to see, have a really good chance at a plus 4,000. So I'm taking him there. SMU, lone group of 5 team we have in here. Preston Stone in that offense, I think it's going to be business as usual for how they run that offense. I think it's going to be absolutely electric. That defense was another series of traffic cones last year, which is nothing new for them. They actually got some Power 5 transfers, especially on the defensive line. So I think they're going to be a little better, take a little pressure off the secondary that's super young, who also has a couple of transfers in there that instilled some confidence in me. And talk about their conference schedule, they avoid Tulane and UTSA, which is massive. They have a super soft conference schedule because they have a really tough out-of-conference schedule going to TCU and then playing Oklahoma as well. So I think they roll through it. You see them in the AAC championship.
Let's go. Give me the Terps to continue getting better every year under Loxley. I used to hate that guy. Now I'm a believer. He's getting great recruits. He's got Tua's brother at QB at the helm. He's going to be a beast this season. Maryland's offense is elite. They're going to win 8 games this season. Iowa to win the Big Ten West. Already talked about Iowa, but I'm not too impressed by the West in the Big Ten. It's pretty much them or Wisconsin, and I think they beat Wisconsin this season. So I'm taking them to win the Big West. Little sprinkle, half you at plus 230. All right, folks. And you already went over Dylan Gabriel. I fucking love that pitch. I'm in on that, and I'm in on Oklahoma.
There we go.
All right.
I love it.
W's. All right, we'll end with this for the futures. So how many units do I put on TCU minus 20.5 this weekend? Just to conclude the Colorado discussion. Richie Parlay, you get it, bro. Unbelievable. He gets it. We go over today's games yet? So, hey, Hayes. We always save the best for last. We always save the best for last. All right, we're coming. Let's talk about
Relax.
I know. Let's talk about some Thursday night football, folks. Let's talk about some Thursday night football. And we got LeBron to the Reds. How about that?
Yeah, Renfro and Bader. Not the two I would have predicted to head to Cincy, but
Renfro.
Yeah.
No way.
I like Renfro. I'm down for that.
When did this happen?
Just now.
Okay, that's your guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like Renfro a little better than Bader. But
that cancels out the Bader douchebag joining the team as well.
Yeah, it does. No more TJ Hopkins, Nick Senzel.
We'll close with this for MLB talk today. Is the meat reglued?
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to you last night, after how horrendous they've been over the past, really, since the All-Star break, they're only a game back with the D-backs and Giants having much tougher schedules for the rest of the season than the Reds do. The Reds have, they have a 4-game series this week against the Cubs, which is going to be huge, and then they play the Mariners. But after that, they can just survive through that. They have a couple series against the Pirates and the Cards. It's just sets up really well. You might have to pull the cement truck out. Richard not claimed?
Bro, maybe he's checked out. I don't know. I feel like something happened in that Angels clubhouse. And look, it probably was meant to because they're toxic as hell. But yeah, Javon, come up for air. All right, let's pivot. Let's talk about some Thursday night football, folks. Let's fucking go. And yes, Javon, you're right. The Reds do have life. Let's just pray that they hang in there. Kent State, UCF. This game stinks. That's okay. It's the first game of the slate today. Let's talk about it. Kent State, guys, they were a fun MAC team last year, and we got some sub-bangs from Ron Muck's clan, A Tale as Old as Time, giving out sub W's. Let's fucking go, Ron. Let's go. Kent State was good last year in the MAC. Everybody left. They're gone. Smell you. Colin Schley, their starters at UCLA. All their starting receivers, their top 3 best receivers, they're gone. And rumor has it, Javon, word on the street, there might still be some rain in this game tonight. Could potentially be some terrible conditions to play on, or potentially even a delay, which tells me there's not going to be that many points. And if they are, they're going to have to come from the ground. And if that's the case, I like that clock to tick, tick, tick. We already knew the new college football rules this season. Games are going to be quicker. Totals are going to be lower. Unders are going to hit. And I think this is the perfect time to take one. I'm taking it one step further, though. Guys, UCF, I know they're just coming up to the Power 5 now, but UCF has been a Power 5 type team for a little while. And I'm not saying, they won the national championship back in the day, but this team is good, and their defense last year was fucking nasty. They get a bunch of those guys back. Underrated, in my opinion. I think they keep Kent State under 10 points. I'm taking that team total for Kent State under 9.5.
Love it. I don't even know if they score, to be honest with you.
I honestly don't think they're going to score.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like pretty similar to me as the Notre Dame Navy game, where you have like a team in Kent State who's really, I mean, they're going to have to run the ball to have any sort of success, and UCF's run defense is really good. And you have a Kent State team who has literally not a single starter returning on offense. You're replacing the entire 11 of production, so that's a scary place to be against, even despite the conditions, against this defense. And then on the other side, obviously, you have John Reese on that side too, who's going to absolutely light it up. So, I mean, it feels like a 42-0 or something like that for me with this game. I think UCF covers. I think it stays under because Kent State is really not going to be able to score. It's just a game you don't want much stake in, at least for Kent State.
I'm with you. Any prize pick squares in this game, Javon?
It's tough because, like, from the board, I guess I feel a similar way that I did, like, with Caleb Williams. I mean, some of his lines hit, but we thankfully picked out the one that did not. But I think it's going to have to be, despite the conditions, like John Reese Plumlee, I have no problem backing him really anything on the board. I think it's just going to be his show. He's going to light it up against a really weak defense. He's going to have plenty of time back there because Kent State's defensive line is one of the worst units in the country. It's like I wouldn't mind backing him, even like
this is how I would take it. Because look, man, I'm so with you. And if this game wasn't, right after a hurricane and there wasn't going to be crazy weather and the field's probably already mucked, I'd be so in to just take him to go off, take his fantasy score, take his yards, whatever, and square out because this Kent State defense is that bad. But these playing conditions, and if it is going to be as bad as it's expecting, I'm no weatherman, but people are talking, they're not going to be able to pass, Javon. So that worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned, to be honest with you. I mean, part of the things, like when they get down the goal line, I think he's going to utilize his legs quite a bit too. So if you're talking about a fantasy score, getting the 6 instead of the 4 could be pretty huge there. So I have no problem backing his fantasy score, especially when I don't think there's going to be much threat of, turnovers against that defense that doesn't force them. So I am cool with backing that no matter what.
Sure. Guys, check the forecast. There's 100% rain. There's rain.
It's a little bit of rain, and then the wind's going to be an issue. It really doesn't matter if the rain or the hurricane went straight through a lane.
There's not going to be a hurricane during the game, but it's still raining and still shit weather down there. Don't tell me I'm wrong if you guys don't know shit. You guys look it up.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine though. I think it'll be that will have more of an effect on the Kent State defense than I think anything. So that's why I'm not really scared. Like if you're going to force them to be super physical at the line, like who's going to win that battle?
Sure. So you want to take Plumlee fantasy score maybe?
Yeah, I think he runs it up. I mean, I don't want to say he gets it in the first half, but I don't think I would be overly concerned about him sitting for, the fourth quarter of this game because I think it's just going to be that much of a moose fest. At least for him.
All right. Any Kent State fades potentially or no?
Nah, I'm good there.
Okay. Let's move to the next game. This one's a little bit more exciting. Let's talk about NC State and UConn. I'm fucking stoked for this one. Javon, let the people know why you went back to Huskies today.
Love the Huskies. I mean, I've seen this story from NC State, a couple of times opening the season against, the inferior opponents, I guess you could say, especially like last year, eked out a win, I believe, against East Carolina. This game was like 21-20, or maybe they lost the game. But super anemic performance. Now you have a brand new offense here with Brennan Armstrong, who's a turnover machine against a really good UConn defense. That's why you see the total at 47. That's why you see, the spread now down to 14, which is pretty good there. But I think this is going to be a game where you're going to see UConn's defense really lock in. NC State, they have a lot of turnover when you talk about the defensive side of the ball. And when you talk about like UConn, like they're not going to kill you in the air. They're not really going to kill you at all offensively, but they're going to run the ball and they're going to run the clock. So if you're talking about a 14.5 with a pretty low total, that makes me feel pretty comfortable. And they're going to have a two-pronged attack there. I wouldn't mind backing those guys on Prize Picks really individually because I think both of them get theirs. But this UConn defense is it's a perfect matchup for them going up against an offense like this, especially like Brennan Armstrong can do a lot with his arm, but like I said, super turnover prone, and that's what they've been best at producing. So I think they stay in this game. I think especially when you look at the massive look-ahead spot when you have for NC State here with Notre Dame, who I'm sure they were shivering when they were watching that game against Navy. I know it's Navy, but Notre Dame looked pristine. Now you're going on the road against UConn in a really weird game to kick off the season with a new quarterback and a new offense here. I think they get stuck, and I think UConn wins this game.
Okay. You think UConn wins this game?
I think they win the game.
Outright. Plus 500.
A little shorter, but yeah.
Okay. How many U's?
I mean, I'm going 2 on the spread, and then a little half geyser on the MO.
Just take the edge off. I love it.
Yeah, got to.
Sure. And yes, Armstrong is back with the offensive coordinator he dominated with at UVA. But I will say, as an ACC fan / as a VT fan who follows every one of UVA's moves and hates on them, the ACC sucked that season. I don't even care. It doesn't matter. Brendan Armstrong, if you've watched him play for the last 3 years, the guy is a turnover machine. He really is. He can make great plays, but he's also a turnover fucking machine. He's going to find a way to fuck this up like he always does.
It's also like
he always did at UVA.
Yeah, and I mean, like the one thing that he did go to UVA with in that offense is like super explosive. It was very high ceiling, low floor when you talk about the turnovers and also like the super explosive plays. UConn's defense is good, but they're especially good at keeping everything in front of them. So like if you're going to have if NC State and Brendan Armstrong are going to beat them, or at least if you want to talk about covering this game, they're going to have to do it with long drives by Brendan Armstrong, which I don't think they're capable of doing for 4 quarters. So like I think this UConn defense is going to be just fine. And if you make Brendan Armstrong have a long drive where he has to craft a series of plays and make a lot of very tough throws against a good secondary too, what's going to happen? A turnover-prone quarterback is going to make turnovers or throw the ball directly to UConn players. Like that's what he does. So I think they certainly stay in this game, and it's kind of a lower-scoring slugfest.
And yes, you could take his interception. He's thrown one today. And also, to go back to this isn't the only QB and coaching reunion in this game, okay? The UConn coach, who, by the way, deserves a fucking Nobel Peace Prize for what he's trying to do with this football program, Jim Mora. This guy is absolutely changing this program and building them from scratch. It doesn't happen in 1 year, Chad. That's why it's not going to fucking happen in Colorado. But my point is, he's doing the Lord's work, and he's reuniting with his QB he used to coach at Maine with, okay? So he gets his QB back this season. You plug him into this UConn team that returns almost everybody from last year. They return 2 of their stud running backs. They're going to rely on them. They're going to feed them. And I'd typically be worried against NC State because you guys saw how good their defense was last year. That's probably why you're hesitant. Their defense last year was fucking nasty, and that team was underrated. I'm with you guys. I am. But they're gone. They're in the league.
Yeah.
They're in the league. They're gone. NC State has a ton of spots to fill, and they're going to fucking show that tonight. You're going to be able to see it against a UConn team that might not have the most talent or more talent, but they got pretty much their whole team back. Their defense is pretty darn good. And NC State's team is depleted, man. Fade Armstrong, back UConn with the points.
This one, like, I really wasn't on the side of, like, I liked Hawaii week 0, but I wasn't on the side that the line was all that weird, and I might have been wrong about that. Looking at the line here kind of reminds me of something similar when you have a team who got absolutely destroyed last season. I mean, they were losing by more than 5 touchdowns for a majority of the game. They had a late touchdown, where they like sent the game and the total over. It was 41-10. And now we have a 14.5 down to 14 now point spread when you have UConn, who is, I believe, top 20 in the country with returning production. And you have NC State, who is missing arguably the 4 best pieces of their defense, the quarterback of their defense, the most important interior D lineman in their defense. So Reminds me a lot of the Hawaii game. Just hoping the UConn can actually pull this one out in the end.
Okay. I'm with you on UConn. Give me the points. I'm not crazy enough to take the ML, but I'll be rooting for you.
I'll do it for you.
Any squares in this game, Javon? Do you want to fade Armstrong?
There's not really I would like to take his under fantasy score, just obviously because turnovers are a part of that. But I almost like backing UConn a little bit in the rushing game more. It's like we have really a two-pronged attack, and you only have one of those as an option in Devontae Houston. But I think he's going to be the guy that's going to be – you're not going to see many explosive plays out of this UConn rushing attack, but he's the guy that I think is going to chunk this defense a little bit. So I love that square today. I think they're going to dominate on the offensive line for parts of this game, and he's going to be the beneficiary of that.
I'm in. W's. Let's move on to the third game of the night. Florida, Utah. We'll save the best one for last. Florida, Utah. Although this one should be pretty damn good too, Javon. No Cam Rising, but no problem. That ain't no problem. The line moved from 6.5 to 4.5 with this news. Although the line did get up to 8.5, I believe, last week. But pretty much a 6.5 to 4.5 move. Back to 5 now.
Yeah, you got
music to my ears. Texted Javon last night. I said, I hope I wake up to a 5. And we did. Love it. Yeah. I don't care if Cam Rising isn't playing. I don't care if a DoorDash driver is playing QB for Utah today. They're at home. Florida hasn't played a non-conference game out of the state of Florida since 1995. They don't do this. You know why they don't do this? Because they're complacent at playing at home and welcoming other teams, down in Florida or playing somewhere neutral down there. Now they got to go to Utah. That's a tough-ass place to play, man, Cam Rising or not. And I'll tell you what, Utah is so well coached. I wouldn't say Florida is. Utah is so disciplined, well coached. Their team is old, and they've been practicing with this backup quarterback the entire offseason because Cam Rising's been hurt. I think they'll be okay today. And I think that's pretty telling that line's moving back now from 4.5 to 5 in this spot against a trendy Florida team who now everybody wants to back with no Cam Rising. Give me Utah.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, 6.5 to 5. If you want to tell me that Cam Rising, one of the best quarterbacks in the Pac-12, is only worth 1.5 points on the spread when we've seen Bryson Barnes come in, and I wouldn't say he's incompetent for this offense, but he definitely doesn't instill any confidence in any backers of Utah or any people who want to fade him either. But I think he's perfectly fine, and not just the fact that this game is on the road for Florida, but also this is the first game of the season where we've seen kind of the concerns with Cam Rising over the course of the offseason. So it's not like this is an out-of-the-blue injury that occurred mid-season. They've been preparing for this in some form or fashion for the entire offseason leading up to week 1 here. So it's not like this is some crazy situation that, we're just finding out about it, I guess, for the last week or so, that he wouldn't be ready possibly for game 1. Now it's confirmed. Let's be real. Kyle Whittingham's been preparing for this the entire offseason. He's not stupid. He's not, not in on any of the news with his quarterback, and he knew the plan from the jump. So I'm not scared about that. Florida also, you talk about the SEC versus Pac-12, it's usually a pretty heavy mismatch in the trenches. Utah is very few, the one team in the Pac-12 that you're going to see them on the upper end of it. Florida is not only has the disadvantage there, but they're replacing a lot of production there. It was already bad last season. Now it's getting worse.
That's fair.
I disagree, but it's they have the advantage in the trenches. They're just going to run all over them. I think you're going to see Utah score a lot of points in this game early and often.
I'm in. Can we fade Mertz on Prize Picks?
We could. I don't know. I have concerns about this under, which is pretty corporate. I think Graham Mertz, for Florida, I think Graham Mertz will be a lot more comfortable in offense than Anthony Richardson was last season, partially just because you look at what Billy's going to do, Billy Napier, in that offense. It's more of a Graham Mertz style offense. I'm kind of buying into the hype that Graham Mertz is going to be okay. I don't think he's going to be anywhere near the Heisman winner. Not that everybody literally thinks that, but everybody thinks he's going to be fantastic, which is how everybody's taken, I guess, a stab at Florida today. But I think he'll be okay. I just think it's going to be ground and pound domination from Utah on the D-line or on the O-line.
Okay. I'm in. And also, guys, Florida in their spring game, I know that was a little bit while ago, and hopefully they've tried to fix up some of that stuff, but the fans were booing. I remember clips were going viral. The fans were booing because the O-line couldn't fucking do anything, and Mertz was getting sacked every play. And that's going to be a tough recipe on the road against Utah, man. Good luck.
Yeah, and we're talking about him getting sacked every play. You know what I want to take? I want to take that under -0.5 rush yard.
Because that O-line sucks, and you think he's an absolute, what do you want to call him? He's like a freaking robot. I don't know. He's like literally can't move back there.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
certainly
not a quarterback in the conference.
I mean, yeah, it's that O-line is terrible, and you obviously have a really tough D-line that you're going to see with Utah today. But also, like, the only thing that saved Florida from having double-digit sacks every single game last season was Anthony Richardson's legs, because he's able to move in the pocket. He's obviously able to do plenty of electric things outside of the pocket and in the run game himself. Graham Mertz can't do that. So, like, he's a little better, I think, for this offense, but certainly not to bail out the offensive line. So, like, I think early in this game, you see Utah's D-line destroy Graham Mertz.
Okay. All right. And this was at a half last night, by the way. It moved back to -0.5. Isn't that funny? Wouldn't it be a very BTL square to take Graham Mertz to record less than -0.5 a rushing yard? I feel like that's right up our alley, bro.
Yeah, right, definitely is.
Let's talk about Nebraska and Minnesota here real quick, Javon. Give me Minnesota. I want to fade Nebraska. I know Nebraska has this Georgia Tech transfer QB coming in, right? I believe his name is Sims, Jeff Sims, who's kind of good at Georgia Tech. I remember he's a runner, but I'm not impressed with Nebraska. I'm not buying the hype of that team. I think their defense is going to stink. New coach. They're going to have a lot of new shit going on. I'm out on that team, and I want to fade. And to be honest with you, Minnesota got no respect last year. If you look at how they finished that season, they played well, and they put up points. And this defense is good. I'm willing to back them laying 7 against a trendy Cornhuskers team. And I think that spread might even be moving up to 7.5 some places too. It's going our way. Lay the points. Give me Minnesota. Now, I also will be taking a Minnesota and Utah moneyline parlay as well, because I am worried one of those two teams in the first week of the season might not be able to get through that threshold and put up enough points to cover the spread. So I will be taking a moneyline parlay with Utah and Minnesota, but I do like the spread. I'll be on those as well. Let me lay the points with Minnesota -7.
Yeah, I definitely lean Minnesota's way. I think I feel a little better about this under, though, and it's one of my, I guess, concerns with Minnesota. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name, but Athan, the new quarterback for Minnesota, they're going to throw the ball a little bit more, and I know they have Sean Tyler, and he's going to be fantastic tonight and really all season, I think. But they're going to throw the ball a little more, which kind of worries me, especially I look on Prize Picks, and that's the only quarterback up for an interception. So I think he's going to get baited a little bit by some of the secondary and a couple mistakes, especially early on in the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if this 7 ends up sticking right on it, because I do think he's going to make some mistakes early. I think Sean Tyler is going to be just fine. The offensive line is going to be just fine. Then the defense for Minnesota, who was really good last season, and they're returning, half of the defense from the most important production. So I trust them to be very good in this, game against Nebraska, who I don't think is going to have all the kinks out worked offensively yet with Jeff Sims. But I think we get a classic little Big 12 or Big 10, just low scoring slugfest here.
Okay. And that makes you worry about that -7.
Yeah. I don't think it loses, but I think there we go.
Let's fucking go. And let me get my little sell job on Sean Tyler. And Beat Camp said, be careful about Sean Tyler. Beat Camp, I didn't know what you're talking about. You're scaring me. But here's the deal with Sean Tyler. And I know he's up for that rushing touchdown on Prize Picks. But here's the thing. He's not going to get a rushing touchdown today. He's going to get a receiving touchdown today. But he's going to be a fucking beast, not only rushing the ball today. And people are talking, they're saying this is the best, most athletic running back that this coach has had in Minnesota over the last 20 years. This is the best guy that he's had, most athletic running back he's had. He's transferring in. He can catch. He can run. But I think he's going to get a receiving touchdown. They almost got me, Javon. They almost got me to take that rushing TD. And then I go and I do some research on these teams. Turns out that this Minnesota coach runs the living shit out of the football in week 1. And his starting running back has scored a touchdown in more than one touchdown per game on average. So he feeds his starting running back week 1, almost always scores. And then I look and I see a rushing touchdown square up there. No, Lee Corso, not so fast. I think he gets a freaking receiving touchdown today, Javon, because if you know how this kid plays, he's a dual threat machine, and he's going to tear through this Nebraska defense that stinks in their first game of the season. I think he goes absolutely nuclear tonight. Give me my guy, Sean Tyler, more than 12.5 fantasy score today. He's going to get a receiving touchdown, and he's going to be an absolute menace, yards after catch, both in the air and on the ground.
There we go. I respect it.
All right. That's probably my favorite square of the day today, chat. Sean Tyler. Remember the name. All right, boys. Mizzou game is up now. People are talking. There might be some Mizzou odds up. Would you look at that, Javon?
28.5, huh?
Wow. Totals at 46.5. Quick thoughts here on that game.
I mean, quick thoughts, probably over 46.5. I know they have kind of a weird looking overhaul. I don't know like all the details, but with South Dakota's offense there, they're doing in the FCS. A lot of pieces they're excited about there. And I think they score against Missouri pretty early and often. I just don't think they have the guns to keep up with them. So that's why I'm hesitant to touch on 28.5 there. But I do think their offense is going to do a little something today. So that would be my initial no research there, lean.
Okay, W's. We'll get more in the lab later. And Javon, I don't know if you know this, but the Red just claimed Harrison Bader.
Yeah, might be aware.
That's B. I ain't got to root for that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
All
right. We move. Chat, it's about that time. Let's get the squad ride going. All right. First off, drop me your favorite college football play of the day today. I didn't see enough plays when I asked earlier. I need more heart from you guys. All right. We got over 500 people in here. You're telling me you can't all drop your favorite college football play of the day in chat right now? Get to work. All right. I know you guys got a play in your back pocket. First comment, UConn ML. Since 2008, an FCS team has beaten an FBS team. So who is it going to be this year? Let's fucking hope for Javon's bankroll. It's UConn.
Well, that's not an FCS team. They're
not
FBS.
anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, but we're talking. Yeah, I have one that I'm taking on Saturday. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Save it for tomorrow. W's.
Yeah.
Chat. Let's get the squad ride moving and grooving. Javon, I think we put in UConn spread.
Yep.
I think we put in maybe my favorite college football straight bet of the day today, that Kent State team total under 9.5. Put
it in. Love that.
Good. I mean, they're not going to score, and when that wind's whipping, they're not going to be able to kick any field goals either. They're fucked.
Yeah, they're screwed.
We want to go. You give me the green light on Minnesota?
Yeah, I'll let you drive the wheel. You don't need my approval.
I like them, and they are up to 7.5 on those books, which is fire.
Yeah.
Utah spread.
Yeah.
Utah minus 4.5 on those books right now. Still, so we'll go with that number. Favorite baseball play today? Go.
And that's first 5 plus a half. Because there's really not much else.
Say no more. Chat. 5 plays, 5 winners. College football is so fucking back, folks. We're here. This past weekend was a tease. We've got real games tonight. Week 1 is here. Lock in. 5 plays, 5 winners. UConn plus 14.5. Kent State team total under 9.5. Minnesota minus 7. Utah minus 4.5. And the Nats first 5 plus a half with the GOAT. Jonah Doan on the bump. Let's go, folks. Don't sleep on that play. All right? Let's get that poll up. We'll get it going. We'll get it moving. We'll get it grooving. There it is. And get your votes in. Go. Get your votes in, folks. Why are we not getting any votes? There they are.
Maybe. There we go.
Patience. We can all be a little bit more patient, huh? Even I could be more patient.
We could.
Get those votes in, chat. Hurry up. Go. Hurry up. Get your votes in. I know you guys are stoked. Football is back. The link should be up in the Twitch poll. Just had to refresh. Give that puppy a little refresh. The poll is in the Twitch chat. Hurry up. Go. All right. Chat, make sure you guys check out the YouTube video we just posted. Me versus Trent on the course, racing. Who can finish a hole first? Check it out. All right. It's on the Book It Sports YouTube. Goots will put the link in the chat. Make sure you guys give that a watch. And yes, the rumors are true. Trent has dropped the goat whale. Okay, folks, make sure you guys check it out. Trent has dropped the goat whale, and I think we'll probably try to do some crafting for the BTL goat whale tomorrow. Maybe not locking it in, but giving it our hardest try. All right. We'll be talking squares tomorrow. We'll be talking Javon's sneak FCS nuke. We'll be talking cheat sheet for the weekend. But for now, chat, get your votes in. We've got a squad ride to win. UConn running away with it, Javon. Shocker.
Should be.
Shocker. Give me the points. Give me the Huskies. Give me the vets coming back, playing against Brennan Armstrong, an old enemy. He might be a lefty. Yeah. His first name might be close to mine. He might even have a red beard. But he's a UVA Cavalier, and I hope he gets fucking crushed in the pocket tonight. I do. Okay? A tale as old as time. He will find a way to fuck that game up tonight. He will. All right? Jack, get those votes in. You got about 2 seconds. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Get your votes in. Get them in. Get them in. Get them in. It's UConn. Shocker. Okay. W's, chats. We need a squad ride W. All right? It's been cake the last 2 nights. We're not losing 3 in a row. Back the Huskies tonight on the spread, and we'll catch you guys at the counter. All right, folks? Javon, let's have a fucking day, man. Football's so back.
Let's do it.
So back, dude. Chat, stick around for the Surge stream, okay? We've got a YouTube vid up today. Check that out. And make sure you guys join the Survivor pool as well. You do a lot of trash talking in chat, guys, talking about your ball knowledge. I'd like to see you really, give it a shot.
I have some breaking news to report, Javon.
Oh.
What?
I'm going to need you to open Prize Picks. Go to NFL season.
I told you it was happening. I told you it was going to happen.
Scroll the bar over to interceptions and tell me what Dak's number looks like.
You've got to be kidding me.
Let's go!
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yep.
Wow.
You've got to be fucking kidding me, dude.
Yep.
Wow. That's all I got. Let's make some coin.
Appreciate it, Trent. Thanks. God damn it. Guess who hasn't locked in their season-long NFL Megalodon yet? And guess whose favorite square that is?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I am in moose. Chat, stick around for the Surge stream. I am wrapped. We'll catch you tomorrow, same time, same place.